Hello everybody, John here, and today onto the garage we're swapping over the tail lights on my Volkswagen T4 Autosleeper Trophy, good name, from these originals to these LED based replacements. This is the tail light. It's a standard tail light. This is our broken lens, and discovered it's much cheaper to replace them with aftermarket, jazzed up if you like, LED based lights. So I've replaced the one on the other side. I think that's uncontroversially better looking. Kind of suits the bumper. The new light uses an orange bulb rather than an orange lens. The reversing lights are probably of equal brightness, but whilst the right hand one, the original, is kind of opaque, frosted, the left hand one's doing it with a better reflector and a clear glass. And the side lights are obviously many LEDs on the left hand side, single incandescent on the right. So this isn't a purely vanity based thing, but I do actually think that these later units look a lot nicer. So they've got an LED element in the top. I say element, there's a lot of LEDs in there. That's combined tail light, brake light. The reversing light is as was, with a plain glass and a plain bulb, and the indicator is a clear reflector and clear lens, and you put an orange bulb in there. And the set of lights I bought came complete with, obviously the LEDs are all pre-installed in that, plus the orange bulb for this. They don't include the actual light bulb housing, which you have to retain from your originals. So why are we changing them? If we flip this round, obviously this is the new one, and you see we've got a good seal on it, which is something that's got a bit shonky on the old ones. Plus this is an original, and it appears to have been in a fire. Now the good news is there ain't no way this has happened on my camper van. This has obviously been replaced from a breaker's yard or something, because this is mounted up to fiberglass. If there was enough heat to do this, then it would certainly have damaged the fiberglass. So this is an after thought item. You see the state of it, it really is messed up. And it had a blown reversing light bulb and all sorts of metal and glass rolling around inside it. So that was light number one. And in light number two, this one's all fully functional, but has a sticking plaster on it. So the lens has been cracked, and there's a clue down here in that my rear bumper has a crack in it. So this has had a little tap from behind, cracked this lens, and that's what's going on there. Swapping them out for a standard like that is far more expensive than swapping them out for aftermarket items like that. And actually on my vehicle, I think that looks quite smart. So undo the strap on our spare bottle. And get that out of the way. My jack is currently living in there as well, yet to be resolved. And there's the bottle. So shut off, just need to get the spanner on that. So now we're inside the cupboard. All we've got to do is remove those screws. Let's put a bit more light in here. Because this is a gas cupboard, everything's sheet steel. In all due praise to Autosleeper, every square inch of cupboard, nook and cranny is very, very much trimmed. Yay! And there we are. So we're now at the back of the tail light. So the lower section is actually a fog light. This is the tail light. So I need a 7mm. It's going to take far longer to get at than it is to do anything with. It's quite frustrating, really. Reminds me of working on a Mini, where I used to have a mini van actually. In theory, a great car. Oh, a classic, something I wish I'd still got now just because it's value. But I hated working on it because I'm normal sized. And so are my knuckles and everything else. And I made a mistake. I think that's an 8mm, not a 7mm. I'll be back. The perfect tool for this job would actually be a deep 8mm socket on the electric screwdriver with a flexi drive. But this'll do. There's one. And we're off. Whew. One thing this has allowed us to see is the fiberglass of the Autosleeper element. I can confirm it's quite thick stuff and looks like it's been well wetted. It's certainly hand laid up by the looks of things. Right, let's go outside and remove the tail light. There we go. Wires are either very short or caught up on something. I have to put the camera down and just get my hands behind there. Yes, they are very short, so you've got to basically reach behind and undo them with the lights hanging out. This is the one that's the supply to the light. That goes into the bottom fitting that you see there. And that one on the right there is where that one goes, and that carries the same signal back along to the other side and or to your towing kit. Just got myself a little tray to put this on. I think you'll see why. So first thing is, see if we can get the bulb holder out. Pretty straightforward. This one looks in half reasonable nick, unfortunately. And the reason that I got that's not. Don't know if that looks very original or not. Certainly nothing like the one on the other side, but the actually cluster's in much better condition. Now, I don't know where it is, but there's definitely a lot of water inside here, but it seems to be trapped between the inner and outer lenses. Very weird. And this is glued together, but there's a lot of water in there. So we're guessing that must have filled up before this was jerry rig repaired. Let's have a look. I think just for the interest, we've got to get that water out. And there we go. Wow. So the lenses on these are obviously like 2 layers thick, the outer and an inner, and then the bulbs are behind that, because this water is not in the bulb compartment, not what I expected at all. So I don't think this is going to be any good for anything, including spare parts, but I was just interested to see what came out of there. And that's a fairly good haul of water. Might save the gasket, although it doesn't look original equipment. Interesting, the light cluster is in really good nick, unlike the one from the other side. So yeah, the one on the other side looked like it had been under the sea. This one's fine. So first thing, we don't need the tail light brake light, because that is now LED. A bit of corrosion in there, I'll clean that out in a second. I'll keep that can go in the spares tub. We don't need the indicator, so let's just make sure I take the correct one, which is this one, because it's going to be replaced with a orange lamp. This one is the reversing light. I just want to check the wattage, P21 12 volt Lucas. Right, so give that socket out, a little bit of a clean, and we should be away. The cloth down there. So this is the orange lamp that came with the kit. That's going to go into the indicator location. These are off-center pins, as you can see on the sides, so they'll only go in one way, which is interesting because it shouldn't matter. It's like child-proof, and I am that child. Very snug fit, and we're in. So let's give that a little clean out. Now this has got an LED stop light, brake light. So what the guys have done who manufactured this is used a fitting that looks like the tail end of a brake light. so it can go straight in to that socket with no mods, which is quite nice, because I was expecting to have to do some tweaking with some electrical connectors. So that literally went in just as simple as that. Then this all gets popped back into its housing. Just going to poke the wires in there a little bit so they go nice and neat. There we go. That's it, tail light ready to go. It's got this nice gasket. That's what's come off. So is that aftermarket? If not, then this, which is aftermarket, looks a lot better. Looking around this unit, this is not branded, but does look, if I come over to the original, let's get the orientation the same. Yeah. So somebody's got hold of tooling for a Volkswagen unit, because you can see these marks here. These are ejector pins. Literally just a pin that pushes up to push this out of the moulding. It's not a coincidence that these are in exactly the same positions. So this is patterned off of original Volkswagen tooling, but it's been dressed to death. You can see all the polish marks on here. So it's old tooling been picked up by somebody else and modified to make something new. So that's kind of good, because it says that this is going to be same construction quality as the original, just technically not an original. Okay, so we're going to put this in. As you can see previously, the biggest challenge is just getting the connectors in, just because you've not got a lot of hand space. So that's not going to make very entertaining viewing. Okay, so before I go to the trouble of putting that in properly, I'm going to turn everything on and make sure it's working. Aha! Success! Great. In that case, you can wriggle this back into position. And go inside to tighten it back up. It's hot upside down in the cupboard. Okay, so that's that job done, and we move on to the next problem with the T4. Lots of things to sort on it, and see you all soon.